Paperboy News here to deliver y'all that final and daily report. Now, OG Eddie Boy, who was once an OG from Rollin 60s, been seeing a lot of people going at it with 600 online saying that he ain't from Rollin 60s. And he gave his thoughts on it, so let's get straight into it. Now, Eddie Boy said, you gotta understand, most of the people that's clowning 600 and saying that he ain't from Rollin 60s are either out of towners or people who ain't even from Rollin 60s. Now, Eddie Boy said, first of all, 600 was born and raised on Crenshaw and Slauson. And he said if you followed his Instagram from the beginning, you would have seen that 600 got a bunch of pictures with a bunch of reputable OGs from Rollin 60s on his Instagram photos. Now, Eddie Boy said the reason why he brought all of this up is nobody said anything about 600 not being from Rollin 60s until he got into it with Big U. Now, if you guys follow Brick Baby, he said this on No Jumper a while back, and he said 600 is the only person from Rollin 60s that got a virtual put off for talking too much online about Rollin 60 politics. So that kind of support what Eddie Boy's saying. Now, Eddie Boy said one thing about the Rollin 60s is they're ruthless when it comes to rats. And he said the reason he's bringing that up is when 600 and Big U was going at it, Big U, who's a reputable from their section, put those allegations on 600, which could have cost 600 his life. Now, Eddie Boy said you gotta understand 600 was hurt because he could have lost his life due to Big U's fake allegations. And he said because Big U did that, 600 aired him out. Now, Eddie Boy said when he first met 600, he did a background check on him just to make sure he is what he says he is. And he said after his investigation, he determined that 600 is really from over there. Now, if you guys seen that part where Brick Baby and 600 was crashing out on each other over the phone, Brick Baby said you're not really from Rollin 60s because you call yourself Big 600, but if you know our set, you can't just get put on and be big anything because we got a jealous ass hood and somebody would have unalived you. Now, if you guys can remember when Brick Baby told the story about Eric Coulter getting put on Rollin 60s, he created the name Shitty Cuz. And Brick Baby and his big homie S don't like that name, so after Eric Coulter got put on, he was Baby Shitty, Brick Baby was Little Shitty, and S Dome changed his name to Big Shitty. Now, Eddie Boy says 600 has a different resume from all active gang members because he never been to prison, he never participated in any wars, but just like every other hood or gang, not every member is active. But just because he isn't active doesn't mean he's not from Rollin 60s. Now, I can remember when Milk 74 was going at it with T-Rail and them, and then a bunch of people tried to say that he ain't from Hoover, and the reputable Hoover said no matter what people say, Milk 74 is definitely from over there because he knew him since he was a youngster, and he was representing Hoover just like everybody else. And he said the same thing that Eddie Boy said. He said not everybody from every gang is a shooter. You got hustlers, you got people that be pimping, then you got Milk 74 who got millions of subscribers representing the Hoovers on the internet. And he said no matter what people say about Milk 74, the fact that he's popping online, they already know he's from Hoover, so he's putting us on too. Now, Eddie Boy said instead of listening to Big U and everybody that's his minions, it's easy to find out if 600 is really from Rollin 60s. All you gotta do is pull up the Crenshaw and Slauson and ask people that's in his generation if he's really from Rollin 60s, and they'll tell you yeah. Now, Eddie Boy said as far as 600 right now, he's definitely not from Rollin 60s. And he said, what person do you know is in their 40s with the opportunity that 600 has to make millions right now would still be banging and active in the streets? Then Eddie Boy says to all the people that's calling 600 a confidential informant and a rat, unless you're gonna provide paperwork, I don't want to hear none of that. Now, Eddie Boy said before Big U and 600 got into it, everybody from Rollin 60 showed 600 love. And he said unlike every other member, I got my own mind, and 600 has all the right to go in on Big U because Big U tried to put rat allegations on him, which basically could have costed him his life, so it's fair play. Now, salutes up to Eddie Boy for dropping the content, and now that you guys heard it, y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in that comment section. Paperboy News stand. Y'all be safe and stay dangerous out there. Down.